let's get into Fernando Mendoza. Everybody knows here that Fernando Mendoza wasn't our favorite prospect in the evaluation process. To some people, it was. To other people, they thought that Fernando was clear cut the number one guy in this draft, and a lot of it was because of hardware, which is a mistake. Tonight, I felt like him being under center is getting really uncomfortable for him. And I don't know if he's really going to settle in place. That's the first thing that was completely obvious to me is I don't think he's comfortable being under center. Obviously, the receivers don't help. We went through that as well. I mean, Brock is going to help somewhat, but the one thing that Fernando's not used to doing is quickly finding a guy and getting it to him. He's quickly wants to get the ball down the field, but he's not the methodical go through your progression, find the guy and get him open, right? All right, get the ball to him and throw him open. Andre says that receiving core is legit poverty. It is. And I feel like they're gonna have so much pressure on Brock that he might get re-injured. Man, it's crazy. That's just how some of this shit happens. That kid's gonna be have so much pressure on his shoulders. So that's the first thing that I kind of have in my mental notes is like I feel like him being under center doesn't make sense. I told my wife this. I would have loved to be in those four walls when they went through the whole draft process and they say, yep, Fernando Mendoza is our guy, right? I don't know how you go through the whole processes of choosing a quarterback at the level that you chose him, number one overall, and you say, we're going to put this guy under center, we're going to run the ball like crazy, and we're going to run play action. Something that this dude has not done ever. And say that that's your guy. When you had other quarterbacks in this class that have done that at least at some point in time or have learned it in some system, aka Ty Simpson, anyone, right? And they said, this is our guy 100%. You did have him predict him going to the Natty if he went with Indiana before he transferred, but as a prospect, well, he wasn't number one on your board. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. But, you know, some people are haters. We're the haters, too. Andre says at Indiana, I feel like I saw him throw more comeback routes and go balls. That's what he did, and he had the receivers to do it, right? And the running game was awesome. Remember, Roman Himby, Kalen Black, and then at the beginning of the year, they had Lee Beebe, who was on pace to run for fucking 1,500 yards in that offense, which they'll have him this year. And I can't wait to see that, him and Josh Hoover. I don't understand how the Raiders went through the whole decision and said that that's their guy. Unless their whole goal is to just see what they got in the preseason and Kirk Cousins be their guy, which if Kirk Cousins is not starting in week one, I think Kirk Cousins can probably get them out of situations that Fernando can't right now because of the experience, if that makes sense, right? He'll be able to help elevate guys more because of his experience than a Fernando Mendoza right now. Fernando Mendoza's always been surrounded by talent, and I think it was kind of a push-pull effect. I get you the ball, you get me out of trouble in college. Here it's, I get you the ball, oh shit, I actually had to read the coverage. Oh shit, I actually had to throw it inside when you're getting inside leverage instead of outside. Or you get things like this. What had happened on that interception was so obvious. Not only did he throw it behind the running back, and then, Woodass came up and picked it up. But the one thing that I want everybody to notice is if you go back, he goes through his progression. It goes 1, 2, and he stares down his check down. Then he throws it. What's the one thing that everybody watches on defense, ladies and gentlemen? They watch the quarterback's eyes. So if you're staring down that guy and you pat that ball, as soon as Fernando does this, Woodaz was coming down. Even before when he stared at the check down, I screamed interception, and that shit got picked off. I think adjusting to the speed of the game from him is going to be super challenging this year, guys. I was the one screaming about Fernando should stay one more year, just like I thought Dante Moore should have stayed one more year as well. I think Dante should have stayed one more year because all three of his starting receivers got hurt. I think running it back this year, if you don't have Oregon as and one of your top teams, I don't know if you've been watching college football. And I still think he wasn't perfect. So that one more year should solidify Dante as the number one guy, if not, top three guy. Fernando definitely needed one more year. I mean, this guy played 16 games and didn't even throw for 4,000 yards. Shit is unheard of for a Heisman winner. And this is what we were trying to tell people, just like level-headed view. While and Raiders fans are so fucking frustrating to talk to. They're one of the most frustrating fan bases to talk to because I understand the fandom. Take the fandom out of the equation. Let's just be realistic about everything. I understand that you might like this Dante Thornton kid who I told them last year. I told them everything. I gave them an autobiography on how Dante Thornton got to where he got to. And everybody wanted to ignore me and call me a fucking hater. Or how I had my reservations about Jack Besh, even though I think that he shouldn't have gone to the Raiders. But you're not helping Fernando out with this receiving core whatsoever. So unfortunately, I don't know if we'll ever see if this kid is going to be good. Did I think that he looked great? No. Did I think that he looked good? No. I think that he was serviceable enough. And I think that's why Clint Kubiak, when he was asked at halftime, would you see him in the second half? I think that there was a clear plan of him at least playing halfway through the third quarter or all the third quarter. I think Clint just had enough of just, dude, you're just checking the ball down because you're nervous now. You're not, our receivers are dropping it. You're not getting these guys on the same page. One of the things that people have to get out of their mind, and I love Fernando as a person, and I think a lot of people do. Everybody knows he's a great guy, but great guys are not always make great players in the NFL. Like, yeah, he's a great story, but it doesn't equal talent, and we have to get that out of our mind. Yes, can he build a brand? Yes. I mean, I heard some stupid shit on the broadcast today by Troy Aikman. Yeah, being in Las Vegas, he's not going to be influenced going down to the Las Vegas Strip. Do you think Fernando Mendoza could walk on the Las Vegas Strip by himself without being bombarded by thousands of fans? Come on. This is one place that the fucking players just don't go. They got a backdoor pass to wherever they need to get to. But, like, yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying. Like, he's a great kid. He's not going to get himself in trouble, but who knows?